And our interview in commemoration in marking National Diabetes Month, brought to you by Marcus and Mack, a law firm representing injured people. And to help us do that this morning, we're talking with Theresa Kineer, a dietitian at Diabetes Education Center at IRMC, and with Patty, I knew I was going to mess this up.
That's okay. It's Kuniak.
Kuniak. I knew it. I just knew I would mess that up. I rehearsed your name the whole time, and I still didn't get it. She's with the Butler Health System, Health Management and Lifestyle Coaching Programs. Good morning, ladies, to both of you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's good to have you both with us. Theresa, let's start with you. Diabetes Education Center at IRMC. What is that? What do you do there?
Well, we are located right off the lobby of the hospital, and what we focus on is inpatient education and outpatient education just for diabetes. That's our specialty. So we do diabetes classes, and we counsel people on diabetic diets and help them with insulin instruction and different things like insulin pumps and continuous glucose monitoring devices. We kind of do it all when it comes to diabetes.
Mm-hmm. And Patty, you're with the Butler Health System, which has a wonderful partnership with IRMC and their health management and lifestyle coaching programs. I would assume you do much of the same things, yes?
Yeah, well, Theresa's focus is on inpatients and directed at just the Indiana community. We were fortunate enough at Butler Health System to get a grant. It's a HRSA grant, which actually gives us funding to provide education, lifestyle education, nutrition education to rural communities and underserved communities.
Mm-hmm.
So part of what we do is we go to neighboring communities and provide classes. Our classes happen to be all virtual at this point via Zoom. And one of the classes we teach is a 4-week series on diabetes lifestyle. So it kind of is in addition to the things that Theresa can do more one-on-one with the patients, we can do group education and give lots of people information over the Internet. So everything we do is via Zoom. And for people that don't have Internet connection, they can certainly dial in and they can listen to it. And we also send them information in the mail.
Well, both of those approaches obviously are very much needed. Theresa, when we talk about diabetes and its prevalence in today's society, it's not going away, and in a lot of cases, we're not helping ourselves very much, are we?
No, you're right. It seems like, as time goes, the case is just increasing, and, this could be due to, just the stress we experience in our lives and people's weight changes. As we get older, we tend to gain a little bit more weight, and that kind of puts us at a risk for diabetes. And then there's also the family history piece, too. It's something that that we're going to be working with for a while, I'm afraid. Yeah.
And diabetes is not just for a particular segment of society. It goes across all age ranges, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It doesn't matter. It used to be, when I was growing up, like your grandparents were really only the ones that would get diabetes later in life. But now we're seeing it at younger kids, people in their 20s, their 30s, their 40s. It's happening at every age group.
Yeah. Patty, when we think about diabetes, there are more than one type of diabetes, and all of them have their various ramifications with our overall health. So if you could, let's break those down a little bit.
Yeah, Theresa was speaking to the type 2 diabetes. So that one tends to happen a little bit later, and it tends to be like a gradual change, whereas there's another type of diabetes called type 1 diabetes that tends to happen in much younger children, and it's more of an autoimmune, possibly assault on the pancreas, so it's kind of a little more abrupt change and a little more severe, at least at the onset. So we do have these two types, but the type 2 diabetes is the majority of diabetes. But both can benefit from both Theresa's services and mine. The type 2 might take a little bit different approach, just in that if there's other confounding risk factors like weight gain, we might need to work on that to help with that. But there are those two types, and then there's kind of a third type. It's gestational diabetes, and those would be the women that have high blood sugar during pregnancy. And that can just be a red flag that you may be somebody that's prone to developing diabetes later in life.
This being 2020, the pandemic has an effect on everything, it seems. Would you find that that is the case with diabetes as well, both in terms of the health ramifications of having COVID and having diabetes at the same time, and in maybe people not practicing the same sort of lifestyle choices that they might make were they not homebound as they are?
I can speak to that briefly, and then maybe Theresa can add to this. So we do know that diabetes is one of the risk factors that makes COVID a little more challenging. And on top of that, we also know that weight, a BMI of greater than 30 is also a risk factor for making diabetes a little more difficult to combat. So we work on all of those things in lifestyle coaching. We also have a weight management series. Since a lot of people with diabetes do struggle with weight, that's another offering that we do virtually. And Theresa may want to speak more to the ramifications of diabetes and COVID.
Yeah. Theresa?
Well, I think the ramifications with COVID, just because of the inflammatory piece and the inflammation that it causes, people with type 2 diabetes or even type 1 diabetes have that process going on. So I think it does become more of a concern, if you do have diabetes and COVID for that piece. But like Patty said, I think, just with keeping your weight down and just losing a modest amount of weight can really help in that area, and eating the right foods, because I can tell you once we opened back up there after the initial shutdown, we got so many phone calls on stress eating, what can I eat, what can help me out so I'm not, my blood sugars are crazy and that type of thing. So that seemed to be our main focus right when everything was starting to settle down.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, Patty, so having identified diabetes and talked about the problems that it can cause, what are some of the mitigating factors? What are some of the things that we can do to help manage it or to prevent it even?
I would say the first thing is to see your doctor and just really have your risk evaluated. There are what we call the ABCs of diabetes, knowing your hemoglobin A1C, your blood pressure, and your cholesterol level. So it might be a good time, and I know it's a challenging time, but it might be a good time in the near future to just have a check-in with your doctor to check your risk factors for diabetes. And once we can identify those risk factors, is your blood sugar running a little high? Is your blood pressure high? Is your cholesterol high? Then we can start seeking classes, support, whatever we can get from the community hospital or from lifestyle coaching or other resources to try to help bring those numbers down.
Yeah. And you're both dietitians, so obviously diet has a lot to do with this as we're talking with you here this morning. Theresa, I know eating right is a big part of this equation, isn't it?
Oh, yes, it is. Yeah. It is important to try to get yourself on a routine where you're eating 3 meals a day and including those whole grains, fruits and vegetables and lean proteins in your diet. And drinking water, because people tend to forget to drink water, especially this time of year. So we kind of like to get them to drink more water just to be more hydrated and keep things regulated. What
are some of the other things that we should be doing on a daily basis?
Well, you know what? Any type of activity you can do helps your blood sugars and helps health overall. So, sometimes it's not possible to go out there and exercise, but if you can be active and keep busy around the house, that certainly helps. And come up with a plan. I mean, if you can come up with a plan every day, this is what you're going to eat, and focus on healthy things, and that kind of builds your healthy habits. So we always kind of encourage people to kind of plan ahead, and that way they're not grabbing things quickly, just to get something to eat.
Patty, you talked about the virtual lifestyle coaching programs that are offered through your system. Sometimes insurance will pay for all of this, won't it?
Well, here's the beauty of it. We're grant funded, and all of our classes are free of charge.
Oh.
So So that's a really big thing with the HRSA grant. It is a grant that we received, and so everything we're able to offer is free of charge, and that is really a huge benefit to anybody. So understanding that our programs are available to anyone, it can be hospital employees, the community at large, and it is free of charge.
Wow, that's a great thing. So here we are, we're entering into December, and the holiday season is upon us. We start with Thanksgiving coming up, and obviously diet is going to be a consideration here, and as we get toward the new year and start thinking about resolutions and all of that, you ladies are going to be busy over the next month, aren't you?
I have people signing up already.
Well, good.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, for folks who want to sign up, who need to get in touch with you, what do they need to do?
Well, from the Butler Health System, the Lifestyle Coaching Program, there's two ways. You can simply call us, and our phone number is 724-284-4504, or you can go online and you can look at the butlerhealthsystem.org, and under services, you'll see Lifestyle Coaching. And if you click on that, you can see our upcoming classes. So that's certainly another way, and you can see what we have coming up. We do schedule 6 months out, so we have our January through June schedule already on. Mm-hmm. As far as diabetes goes, we have a class starting in February. And for weight management, we have a series that's starting January 6th. And when you look online, you'll see that we have many other kind of one-shot seminars out there, including one on self-care that's actually this December, which kind of addresses all those stressors that we're trying to deal with COVID.
Mm-hmm. And Theresa, what about the Diabetes Education Center at IRMC?
With the Diabetes Education Center, it can be as simple as asking your doctor to send a referral over to us, and we can give you a call and set up appointment or classes or whatever you're interested in. Or you can call the Diabetes Center yourself, and we can kind of put all that into motion. And our phone number is 724-357-7164.
Beautiful. Theresa Kineer, Patty Kuniak, thanks so much for spending some time with us today on diabetes education. It's certainly something that is needed. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank
Happy
you.
Thanksgiving.
And to you. And to you. Have a great day today.
Oh, you too.